Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome back to another developer Q&A video for Eve Echoes. Before we jump in on this one, I do have something I just really need to say because apparently some people still don't understand what my stance is regarding to Echoes, and I'm still getting comments of like, oh my god Benzie, just leave. I don't want to leave. I love this game, I love this community, I have supported this game for 3 years and I will continue to support that community for as long as I can. I am still playing the game, I log in daily, I have actually been flying around a little bit recently, and I am looking to try and get some content out there talking about some of the recent things in the game, or things that I've missed in the past. Now, if you have suggestions for that, I would love to hear them. The only reason I've not been making much Eve Echoes content lately is because there's very little that I can actually showcase that I'm having fun with. This channel's always been about I'm having fun, here's how you can too, and if I'm not having fun, if I can't find something fun to showcase, then there's no content there, right? But I'm still sticking around hoping that one day there will be. I'm looking forward to eventually getting Yanjung or these new frigates that they're talking about, even if they are Tech 10 variants. Like, there's a lot wrong with the game, but I don't want to just quit and be done with it because I'm still holding out for that turnaround. I'm just not focusing on the game because goodness knows when that turnaround will actually be. Finally, for those people saying like, oh, I'm done with the game, I'm quitting, I'm deleting my characters, I'd suggest you don't delete your characters, because if the game does turn around eventually, you've lost everything, and simply put, even if I do quit the game, I wouldn't delete the characters anyway because they're history, and one day I might want to jump in and just go, hey, I wonder what it looks like nowadays, what the game looks like, and just jump back in and see where you were. I think deleting your characters is kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face, but again, it's up to you. If that's what you want to do, if that's the statement you want to make to yourself, then by all means go for it. This is your game as well as it is mine. If you're still enjoying the game, then absolutely, stick around and keep playing. If you're not enjoying it anymore, then consider leaving and moving to something that you do enjoy. That's healthy. Sticking around with stuff that you're not enjoying simply just to be upset about it is not a good thing. That's why I'm doing so much EVE Online content these days, because I am loving the time that I'm spending there. The final point to talk about on this as well, basically in regards to this, is a lot of people have been saying, how do I get my money back? And there is no way for starters, but I don't think you should, because you paid that money and got something for it at the time. You don't then look back and go, oh well, I'm not happy with the product anymore, therefore I want my money back. That's not how live services work. Like, for crying out loud, I've rented accommodation throughout my entire life. I no longer live at that accommodation. Do I get to turn around and say, well, I want all that rent back because I don't live there anymore? No, that's not how it works. If I go for a night out and I buy some drinks, once I've drunk them, do I then turn around to the bartender and say, I want my money back because I'm not enjoying the drinks anymore? Of course you don't. You paid for a game, you got something out of it at the time that you were enjoying it. It's then a case of moving on to something that you do enjoy and not trying to scrape your money back out of it, except that you enjoyed this game. And maybe one day you will again in the future. Anyway, now that's off my chest, please let's jump into this week's developer Q&A. This isn't going to be a huge one, the questions are fairly short and sweet, but there are some interesting things to talk about, so as usual, we'll jump straight in, we'll cover them all piece by piece. You'll also notice I'm back using my Asus ROG because, well, my wife needed to borrow the Pixel. Anyway, so, developer Q&A then for the week of the 11th to 17th of March, May, April, that one, the fourth month of the year is April, that's the one we're looking at here. Question number 1. What's going to happen next with Starry Night Flight? I really enjoyed putting together my customised capital ship and would really enjoy seeing part 2. Oh god. Melos says, players will have a chance to get the blueprints of the customised ship through the follow-up events, which neither answers the question nor... oh, goodness me. So the question is, when are we getting round 2? And he says, well, we're going to finish round 1 soon. There's no answer for anyone there. Honestly, look, I kind of get it. Starry Night Flight was interesting in that it allowed players to design ships, but at the same token, there is kind of a reason that normally we have developers do this kind of stuff, because they're supposed to know their game better than anyone else and come up with something that's balanced and visually aesthetically matching the environment. Like, look, if you undock a Galente ship, and like 5 different Galente ships, you can usually tell that they're all Galente ships, right? Same if you take like 5 random Caldari ships, they all look like their uniform. Whereas when players start designing stuff, I don't know, maybe I'm being a killjoy there, maybe I'm from being a buzzkill, but Starry Night Flight to me was just a way for the developers to get someone else to develop something for them and make it capital content. And at the point we're at now, I am sick to the back teeth of freaking capital ships. Like, I've never enjoyed flying them myself in general, but again, that's not the issue here. It's not a personal vendetta against capitals, it's the fact that they have changed the face of the game by far for the worst. Since the addition of capitals, Eve Echoes has spun itself up into an absolute pay-to-win nightmare. And I'm always going to get comments that go, oh, well, I bought my capital legitimately. Good for you. I am sick of reading that comment. Like, I'm glad that you bought your capital legitimately. That does not in any way invalidate my point that the majority of players have not bought their capitals legitimately. They swipe their credit card, and NetEase freaking well knows this. Beyond that, the addition of capitals has cost us the development time for literally any of the other systems that we have, and instead everything since their addition has been capitals, more and more bullshit capitals, extending the back end of the game whilst doing nothing to address the new player experience, which means the old players who don't want capitals are dropping like flies, no new players are joining, and even the capital pilots who do enjoy this are still leaving because of real life and things like that. It is a losing strategy, and capitals were absolutely the single worst thing to add to Eve Echoes at the time they did, if longevity was your goal, which it isn't for NetEase. We've discussed this before. So, great for them, sucks for the rest of us. Moving on then to question number 2. Can you please add a sort by estimated value ability to the inventory menu? Sometimes you just want to do a large sale for as much as possible, but without a sorting ability, it's a lot of guessing and clicking to find where the estimated value is coming from, particularly in a very full item hanger. Melos says, very valuable suggestion, we'll add this to the to-do list. And I actually kind of agree. There was a brief chat in the CC Lounge this morning on the official Discord where one of the guys was asking, who's this for? And it's in the question who it's for, right? It's for people who just want to sell some stuff quickly, not necessarily sell everything because you don't necessarily have enough enough sell orders in order to do that. Like, if you've got 100 different items in your cargo hold, no one has enough buy orders to do that. Sell orders. It is sell orders. I'm getting my words confused. But no one has the amount of orders required to do that, even with full skills. So you do sometimes just want to sell the most expensive stuff first. I would argue this should be low priority, yeah, because it doesn't really do anything new or interesting, it just is a nice little quality of life tick, but definitely putting it on the to-do list and shoving it in the background, I'd be all for. Just every time I say this, it's kind of a, I would be all for adding these quality of life changes as long as they actually go back and fix the bloody game first, which they never seem to do, right? That's kind of the problem for me. We've got so many great starts to systems. PvE is pretty solid, we just need something to actually flesh it out and make it more interesting, like agent missions or complexes and stuff like that, right? We've got exploration, brilliant start to exploration, but it's missing most of the fun of it. Nihilist spaces, excellent concept, but never fully realised. When are they going to go back and actually fix these and make that work? Probably never, because NetEase's idea of, fixing something is just to throw another log onto the fire and burn that instead. So yeah, we'll probably see this much sooner than we will anything that actually resembles a fix to the game. But I'm not against it, I don't think it's a bad idea, I just think it's an unnecessary minor thing that really should be on a back burner compared to the stuff we actually need. Question number 3. Do any of the corporate Citadel modules affect the success rate for nanocore reverse engineering? Due to the importance of nanocore to the economic system, lol, there are no plans to launch buildings that affect the success rate of nanocore reverse engineering, but some other corp buildings are coming up on their way. Okay, so I honestly am not hot on the industrial side of things when it comes to nanocores. I have had mixed messages here. Some people have said, no, there is nothing that does this. Other people have said, oh yeah, you can get the 1% reverse engineering does affect it. I don't know, but the idea that nanocores are important to the economic system is freaking laughable. They're not important to the economic system of the game, because who really is actually building, the blue and purple nanocores that you sell on the market? Who's using those? Almost no one. We're all going for the Concord Pass ones, and now the gold ones, and upgrading it that way. The actual NCOs and things like that, almost no one is using those. Because again, it was a system that they added to the game. Remember when it was going to be the big thing, that you were going to go and get all these materials to make your nanocores and buy them from industrialists? Then they figured out they could make more money by just slapping them in the Concord Pass and getting you to spend for them. Yeah, So when it was added as something that was a fix to the game, NetEase just kind of turned around and went, oh, we can monetize the ever-living shit out of this, and so that's what they've gone with. So this idea that they're important to the economic system is, it's crap. It's genuinely crap. There's no importance to the economic system. It's only important to NetEase's economic system. Because suddenly, if we had the way to make good nanocores in-game, you're going to see less people spending to buy them from, like, the Neon Rain and the CyberX and all that kind of thing, and fewer people actually bothering to go and pay for the full Concord Pass, because why would they? They can now just sit there and build the nanocores themselves. That's the point we're getting at here. Importance to the economic system. Yes, the economic system of NetEase Incorporated and its shareholders. Question number 4. Hello, I would like if you could add some buildings for Alliance services. And here we go again, this eternal question that is never going to happen, but hey, let's see what's said. For example, a regional trading centre. Everyone can buy sell there, the owning alliance could set the trade tax, make resource requests, set what kind of ship can dock there if it belongs to some grey-red clone, and even that the service of interstellar delivery can be used here. ITC, RTC, Corporation Outpost, so the interbus ships have more economic importance. And yeah, this is a really good idea, and if you are as old as me in this game, you will remember that before launch, between the open beta and final test, before the game fully launched, they talked about that they wanted player-run ITCs in Null Sec 3.5 years ago at this point, and it's still not in the game, because again, NetEase don't care about this because it has no way of making money for them. Note, again, I need to talk about the differentiation in, like, terminology here. When I say NetEase, I'm talking about the guys in suits who run NetEase head office and decide who gets the points and allocations and staff and all that kind of thing. Where does the money go for development? I'm not talking about the core team like Melos and Cloud and Lancedot and those guys. Those guys pretty much have some cool ideas. The trouble is they are ruled over by a bunch of basically corporate suits who only give a crap about the bottom line. Now, of course, it's a business, before some wise ass puts that in the comment section. Oh, NetEase is a business, of course they need to make money. Yeah, they do need to make money. And it used to be that you could make money by making a good game and attracting players to it. NetEase's business strategy is to make a great game and then just utterly abandon it, squeeze it for as much as possible until eventually it collapses. That is their business strategy. Longevity is not the name of the game. They are trend chasers who want to be basically on the latest trends and pushing for the big money in those over a limited period of time. It is insidious, it's anti-consumer, it's anti-player, but it is what it is. It's a business, right? But, like, you know, oh, it's a business, they need to make money. Like, that makes it any better? Like, me as a player feels better because, oh, at least NetEase are making the big bucks. At least their shareholders are doing really well, whilst the game I love completely falls apart, right? The idea of nullsec ITCs being run by players was something that was banded around as a big thing before the game even launched, and it just never came to. I don't know why it came to, probably because they realised that there just wasn't a way to monetize it at that point, but it would be a really good thing because, yeah, it would give, like, haulers actually something to do to move stuff to and from those markets. It would give traders the ability to buy stuff cheap at one of those markets and sell it somewhere else. There's so much stuff that could go on with this, but it just doesn't work like that. I mean, I suppose you can drop stuff at, say, some of the actual ITCs in nullsec and put them on the market, or any NPC station technically can be set like this, but the game doesn't really support it. And as long as we have the ability to offline autopilot completely safely through null, then no one's ever going to use stations otherwise, because, yeah, okay, it takes 30 minutes to fly to Jita and back. That's awful if you're actually playing the game, but you just do that when you're not playing. You just let that bit automate itself, right? And that will forever be an issue. As long as we have one trade centre, that is going to screw over industrialists, because every single industrialist in the cluster is competing with every single other industrialist. It's a market where everyone is at the same table and you're all trying to sell your goods, which means whoever has the cheapest price is the one who sells it. There's nothing to do with convenience, because convenience doesn't matter. But anyway, Melos. The buildings are designed to provide service to the corporation, because we still want the corporation to take the main role in organising the division of labour in New Eden. More corp buildings will be released later. Essentially, in EVE Online, Alliance is the main structure. You have corporations which are building blocks to alliances. In EVE Echoes, alliances are just umbrellas that group together multiple corps. They want you to be in a corp first and foremost, and the alliance is just a secondary thing to that. So, the fact that we've got alliances like and Void and all of these that are, these mighty behemoths that use all of these outside of game tools in order to get stuff actually working because it's not in game, that's because we're kind of going outside of how it was intended to be. Everything is designed to be corporation level, and theoretically this is a good thing because it means that you kind of have each corporation in its own system, which causes a bit of sprawl and spread. Not nearly enough though to actually cause any kind of warfare. Like, no one is seriously fighting over borders for resources in EVE Echoes, because resources are infinitely spawning and because there's no reason to jump more than like one jump at maximum. Like, yeah, okay, you might have your corporation set up in a system that has only Tech 7 anomalies, but it's not far to get to a Tech 10 anomaly, and most corporations at this point are set up so they've got the Tech 10s right on the doorstep and maybe a Tech 7 or something nearby, or you just fleet up and work together with the newer players, although that said, what newer players? So, I kind of get what NetEase are trying to do, but it's not working. And this is, again, that stubbornness here, that absolute insistence that we've got the right plan, just no one else understands it yet. I sat there at the beginning of this question and I went, oh, for goodness sake, another one of these questions of when are we going to get more Alliance stuff instead of just Corp stuff, and NetEase have said time and time again they want Corp to be the focus. And it's like, I get it, it's what NetEase want it to be, but it's not what it is. And we're seeing this with Corporations Clash. Remember how I said the truly insidious thing about Corporations Clash wasn't just that it was a monumental waste of developer resources for something that nobody wanted, it's the fact that it's going to continue to be a monumental thing. Because NetEase, because they are this trend-chasing company, they essentially get an idea in their head, they spend time and resources to make that idea work, and then they are absolute slaves to the sunken cost fallacy. We've developed this, no one's using it, therefore we need to keep developing it and keep fixing it and keep incentivizing it until people are forced to use it. We know what the players want, and if they disagree with us, it's just because they don't know what they want, right? That's the mindset that we've got here. It's why Corporations Clash is now getting weekly missions and why it's getting all these new bits pushed into it. And if people still refuse to engage with it, they will keep adding more and more to it. It's one of those really dumbass situations where we're sitting there saying, we don't want this, and they're going, yeah, you're saying that, but we really think you do, so we're gonna just, you just need to try it more, you just need to do it more. It's like, I don't like mushrooms, I don't like cheese. And it's like someone coming up to me and saying, hey, you should have this cheese and mushroom pie, and me saying, no thanks, I really don't like cheese and mushrooms. They're like, oh, you just haven't had the right one yet. It's like, no, I've tried multiple and I don't like cheese and mushrooms. Oh, but you should really eat this one because it'll be really good for you. And it's like, no, you don't understand what we're getting at here. Like, in any other situation, this would be almost like a proper red flag, right? It's abusive. But because it's a game, it's kind of become the norm, and it is NetEase's absolute core at their market. We think you want this, and if you're not using it, it's because you're wrong, not because we misinterpreted the situation. And that sucks. That absolutely sucks, because it means now we've got Corporations Clash, a situation that we do not want, that is just going to be developed and developed and developed and pushed on us with more and more incentives to actually do it, rather than developing the stuff that we do actually want. And in this case, we've got all of these things where people are saying, wouldn't it be cool to have all of this at Alliance level? Wouldn't it be cool to have this at Alliance level? And NetEase going, nah, we want it to be Corp level. And the whole community goes, but we'd really prefer it to be Alliance level. It would be so much cooler at Alliance. And NetEase going, you think that, but we want it to be Corp level. And it's like, they've just stopped listening. They've just stopped listening to the player base at this point, other than to do these quick, easy wins where they reach up and grab the lowest hanging fruit possible. Like, look, I'm excited at the ability to name my ship, and I'm excited at station containers. Does it fix anything in the game? No, it doesn't. It's still a ridiculously low-hanging fruit, the smallest, teeniest, tiniest thing they could pluck off that tree, throw at us and go, there, are you happy now? No. I'm kind of glad that it's being added, but there's so much more that we need, and you guys can't distract me with just that. You can't just throw this pathetic little tiny system that we've been crying out for 3 years and then expect that to distract us from the fact that you're still doing the same old crap over and over again and not listening to the player base. But there we go. That is the developer Q&A for this week. Not much in the way of interesting questions here. Like, yay, we're getting the Starry Night Flight blueprint soon. More carriers. Who wants more carriers, people? Are you bored of carriers yet? Because I sure frickin' am. But there we go. We're going to keep having those forced down our throat like... I'm not going to go there, that's an analogy that would get me demonetized. Can you please add the sort by estimated value? Would be nice, but completely unimportant. Do any of the corporate citadel modules affect success rate for nanocores? Nope. And we're not going to be ever doing that because that affects our bottom line of, screwing you guys out of your wallets. But we are adding some new corporation stuff that probably no one else asked for again and fixes nothing because that's where we're at in EVE Echoes. And then the concept of, hey, could we make stuff more alliance-centric? And the devs going, no. That's it. That's this week's Dev Q&A. Cool, congratulations to the 4 of you who asked those questions, got no responsible answer, but at least got a month of Basic Omega. That's pretty cool, right? And if you've listened to the dev talks, do let me know what went on there, because I've not had a chance to sit down and listen to it yet, and I'm sure there's going to be some interesting stuff in there that I should really respond to, but again, we'll see. We'll see if I get time this weekend to actually sit down. I've got so much other stuff going on right now that it's difficult to. But again, that's this week's developer Q&A. How is EVE Echoes right now? Honestly, swirling the toilet bowl. It's not a great place to be in the game, where you can categorically see that the developers do not want to listen to the players and are pushing their own agendas and telling us, oh, you don't want this, or so you think, but you secretly do. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I've been Captain Benzie, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!